Hey everyone, this is another little quick Q&A with our last year's winner, Charlie. He's from the University of Canterbury. We'll just get started by asking him sort of what his case was about last year and what his team did to solve the problem. Take it away, Charlie.
Yeah, sweet. Hi guys, nice to meet you all. I guess I'll start with a bit of an intro about myself. So my name's Charlie Kavanagh. I've just actually recently graduated from the University of Canterbury. I studied a Bachelor of Commerce, majoring in Information Systems Management and German. Previous to the competition, my sort of experience within the whole business and IT world, I'd previously opened a gelato store in Christchurch when I was 19, which was the first ice cream store in New Zealand to accept cryptocurrencies for payment. I sort of attacked this competition with sort of business and IT skills, I guess. Where I am now, I'm now working as an account manager for Lentune, which is a software company based down in Christchurch. And I'm also a customer success representative at Easy Crypto, just two software companies. So yeah, pretty busy. I won the Trans-Tasman MYOB IT challenge last year. Guess now I'm here to give you guys some sort of tips and tricks on how I sort of approach the competition and what the judges particularly enjoyed about us and our team. A bit of background in terms of what the actual case was. So our case was to find a IT solution that would help micro business owners within their research and development phase. Within that, I mean, there was sort of endless possibilities in terms of what path we went down. Although as a previous business owner, I was sort of able to identify two considerable problems that micro business owners often face. One of them being overspending and the other being poor receipt and expense management. A heinous amount of small businesses fail every year within their first year. And our solution was really trying to push those micro business owners beyond their research and development phase and push them into the path of success. Big reason as to why these businesses are failing is because they're not handling their receipts and expenses effectively. Basically, I was a bit guilty of this, and a lot of other business owners, when they first get into business, are guilty of this as well. And it's keeping a shoebox of receipts on your desk of all the expenses. Of all the expenses that you make. And often as a small business owner who's running around, you lose your receipts, you leave them in your jacket, you leave them in the car, and then by the time when it's GST filing time, you're not eligible for all the tax to claim back on the tax because you don't have a physical copy of the receipt. So, we developed a mobile application, which was named Vinta. And the application was super simple. To give you a bit of a rundown of how it works is you simply take a photo of an expense that you would make. Let's say you take a client out for lunch. So you take a photo of the receipt using OCR technology, which is like image capture technology. It would automatically extract all the data from that image and upload it into a whole bunch of different fields within the application, such as the GST number, your date, the description, those sort of things.
Yeah.
And then it would compare your spending habits with a whole bunch of preset budgets and metrics that you had configured, basically. And that really was our unique selling point, was that analysis screen.
Cool.
Which was really trying to incentivize small business owners to be a lot more conscious about their overspending and expense management habits, really.
Cool.
And also tied in with that as well, having one centralized location of like storing all your receipts meant that you were eligible for claiming a lot more tax back when it was time to file for your GST. So yeah, there were a couple little things coming together, but the scope of the application itself was super simple, and yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. So what would you say would be one of the highlights of the challenge last year for you and your teammate?
Yeah, well, I guess there were quite a few highlights. I mean, unfortunately, due to COVID this year, you guys are doing it all online. Although one thing I really enjoyed about last year was actually going up to the head office in Auckland and meeting a whole bunch of people, and growing a bit of a network and sort of getting a better understanding of how software companies and stuff work.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I think another real thing that I enjoyed about it is we were a really small team. There were only two of us, which was a real blessing and a curse. A blessing because we got to take more money home at the end of the day, and a curse because there was a lot more work that went involved within that. But yeah, no, I guess the real highlight is it was so much fun, and I've actually really been able to take a lot of the skills that I learned and put into practice while doing the MYOB IT challenge into my career now. And I learned
awesome.
a lot of skills, not just within the IT, but also the business side. And yeah, I guess, the learning and that sort of thing is something, my real highlight, I suppose. Yeah.
Cool. Would there be anything you would change about what you produced, even though you won? I'm sure looking back, you might think you'd like to make.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, there isn't anything like standout that I would change about the competition. Although I think doing a lot more stuff like this actually will really help the finalists in this round. I guess, we sort of felt like we didn't really have a lot of guidance throughout the progression of the challenge. So I thought we were, we weren't really sure how we were tracking in comparison to the other teams, and sort of, we weren't really sure of how, like what the expectations were of our team as well, because it obviously is quite a, you get the case, but you have to develop something, but it's really hard to know what like the scope is of what you're trying to develop. And I think that's actually something that really helped us last year, is we just dialed it right back, and we focused on super simple, really basic interface. Our application was literally only 6 screens. And I think that, I guess having a bit more guidance, understanding whether, is that something that you guys are wanting, so we can sort of manage your expectations a little bit better as well. But yeah, I think also last year we had a marketplace round as well. And I'm not sure if the finalists are doing it this round. Are they doing it this year?
Not quite so much this year, just because they are online, but they are all going to be on YouTube, where everyone can watch and sort of have a look at each other's applications and entries. So kind of there.
Yeah, I think really, I think that marketplace sort of, where you would be doing that, I think it, it pays a lot to really understand who would be looking at your application, and sort of try to consider exactly what they're going to be wanting and looking for when they literally look at your app for 2 minutes. So ask everyone, do that market validation, ask other people, and you won't run into problems like that. But yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. So as you know, this year is going to be fully online over Zoom, and they're actually going to be doing it as a video presentation. So would you have a piece of advice to give potential participants if you were doing the same thing but over Zoom?
I think just, having the platform being over Zoom, it's really difficult to express your passion and your confidence and sort of like your drive over video. So if I could give one piece of advice, it would be find like a really interesting, exciting way to demonstrate your solution. Like I'd say think outside the box, because a simple screen share and reading off a script will not make you stand out from your other competitors. yeah, I'd really focus on because for us, 50% of it was on the technical side, the prototype itself, and then the other 50% was the report, the presentation, the business side of things. So yeah, I'll try to really focus in on that business side as well. As part of that, obviously, keep your energy high and don't read off a script. Like, as subtle as you think it might be, your delivery is not subtle. And I would say learn your presentation, learn it well. The last thing you want to do is sound like a robot, and then practice and just practice some more, I guess. So yeah.
Awesome. Would there be any advice you'd give to students that aren't as technical? So maybe that might be looking into ideation or more on the business side.
Yeah. I guess we actually spent a lot of time really identifying a problem. I think, it's much better to have a much smaller scope with a definite problem that you can provide a definite solution for. So I would we spent probably 3 days we read the case and we just went away and brainstormed just shot ideas around and put a lot of time into really knuckling down that idea. But advice for non-technical students, this challenge is as much of an IT challenge as it's not an IT challenge, in terms of the judging criteria for us was 50-50. And I think a big reason as to why we won over the other competitors is because we focused on our business aspects so much. For example, if you put 15 hours into developing your prototype, let's say, you should be spending 15 times on your business side of things as well. And I think some students of the other teams last year really either focused on just the business side or just the technical side. So yeah, really just focus on that and include that in your presentation style and your report and your delivery and everything. And I guess try to structure everything. I would recommend try to structure how you approach that in providing context, and then providing the problem, and then providing the solution, and then really communicating the value that is actually delivered to your end user from creating that solution, which solves a problem, which wouldn't be a problem if there wasn't context. So it all leads right the way through. And I think that's what someone who might potentially not have so much of an IT background will really be able to contribute. And I think really focus on the case, understand the case, and the context and the value is really, that's where that case sort of falls in. And I think having a really diverse set of minds in your team really helps. It might be good to have an accountant. It might be good to have an art student who might wish to design the IT solution, and then it might be where you're obviously going to need your coders and people who are crunching lines and stuff all day on the computer. So I think having a really diverse background and stuff, and that really does help, and really helps for the non-technical students.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much. That was kind of all we had to ask you today, but if there's anything else you'd like to add, parting words of sound advice?
I guess I'd say be honest and really, really refine your scope, because the judges want your idea to be realistic, and they will be asking you questions about your timeframes and about your financials, and they have a much better understanding of that than you do. So any validation that you can put in around that, and actually really understanding sort of where those financials and timelines can come from, rather than just estimating, is really what can make you stand out from your competition. And I mean, software is, you're creating an IT solution, and an IT solution is never complete. There's always bugs. There's always other issues. Consider the fact you've got to test your product as well. And yeah, maybe extend your timeline a little longer than you're initially thinking. And yeah, I would say the scope is probably I would say my biggest, message for you guys to take away is don't add things to your solution just for the sake of adding things. Often being simplistic and really focusing on that case will actually be able to help you win. And as I said, our app had 6 screens last year. And also if there's any questions from the judges, be honest. It's fine if you don't know the answer. It's, you've been focusing on a solution for such a small amount of time. You're not an expert on your industry, on your solution, and telling the judges that you don't know the answer yet, but it's something that you'll look into and it's something that you'll work on because you want to continue your application on into the future or whatever, is a much better answer than standing there and trying to wing an answer that you don't really know what you're talking about.
Sure.
But yeah, I guess that's sort of it from me. I hope I answered your questions.
Yeah,
All
definitely.
right.
Yeah.
But yeah, like honestly, the IT challenge, it really allowed me to stand out from my competitors while applying for a job. The job that I applied for, we had 240 applicants, and it wasn't a role that a usual, like a junior role out of uni. It wasn't really like a classic graduate position, and something that they really valued is winning the IT challenge last year. So yeah, I think what you're doing is actually, this business case really goes beyond just uni, and it's something that you'll be able to hopefully take with you into your career. And it helped me get ahead, so I'm sure it's going to help you guys as well, regardless of the outcome on judging day. But yeah,
That's
Cool.
so good to hear.
Thank you so much. Yeah, really value your insight and opinion, and we hope everyone watching is able to apply something that you've taught us. So cool. Thanks so much.
sweet. And all the best with the rest of the competition. And if you wanna reach out to me on LinkedIn or anything, you can. Charlie Kavanagh. So yeah, Kavanagh with a K. But yeah, I'm more than happy to provide any advice or help where needed. So yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Cool.